In this activity, we're going to use a library database called JSTOR to find literary criticism about Sula. And once we find an article that we think is interesting, we're going to collect an MLA citation for that article and find 3 passages from the article that we think are interesting and paste them into our response post along with our MLA citation. What are we going to do with all this material? Well, you're going to have the option of using this material in your paper in our final body paragraph. If you recall, the final body paragraph of your paper is going to ask you to look at what a literary critic, a scholar, says about the novel. One option for that final body paragraph will be to look at Morrison's own scholarship about her own novel, which we see in the foreword to Sula. But another option will be to use the article you find here, or a cool article your classmates finds that works for your paper. So you're learning how to use an important database. You're learning how to skim through an article of scholarship and find material in that you can use. You're learning how to collect MLA citations. There's a lot of good things happening in this activity. And you're finding things that might be helpful for your paper. So let's get to it. Here we are on the library's homepage, and we're going to click on the database link, and that will take us to the primary research tools of the library. We're going to use JSTOR. And when we get to JSTOR, we're going to generate a search for using the keywords options, not doula, Sula, and the second keyword will be Morrison. Now, if we were to stop here, we would get probably 10,000 quotes, citations. So we're going to narrow things a bit. First of all, we only want content we can access. So anything we find, we're going to be able to actually read right in JSTOR. And we only want scholarly journal articles. We don't want reviews, books, other things. We're just going to focus on scholarly articles. These are articles written by experts in Morrison, in Sula, and published in top journals. So they're incredibly credible resources. Incredibly credible. That's nice. And then we're going to give ourselves a date range. And I would like you to focus on the as recent as possible, but so that we have plenty of material to work with, let's go ahead and select material from 2010 to 2020. And that should give us a ton of articles that we can work with. Probably well more than 100. Let's see what we get. So once again, to quickly review, we're talking about Sula and Morrison as our word search, content we can access, only articles, and a 10-year reference period. And if we scroll down and click, ta-da, submit advanced research, or advanced search, sorry, we're going to find, oh, there we go, 200 articles. That gives you plenty to work with. Now, there is one rule. You can't refer to the same article as someone in your reading group. So you do have to make sure you're not duplicating so that we get a good collection of articles. But that restriction aside, I think you'll find there's plenty of choices. If you go through, you'll notice that some of the article titles don't include Sula in the title. That doesn't mean you can't use it, because Sula is mentioned in the article. That's how the search engine found it. And any idea related to Morrison, you can probably bring over and apply to Sula. So think about this idea of trauma in Beloved. Well, that's another Toni Morrison novel, but trauma is all over Sula. And so as you scroll down and look at some of these titles, some of them are not going to have Sula in the title, but the concept is perfect for the kind of conversations we've been having, and we know Sula is mentioned in the article. But you could use passages that don't even mention Sula and apply them from some other work that the scholar has looked at to Sula if you wanted to. And then, of course, a lot of the titles will be about Sula. But it may be that an article that doesn't have Sula in the title could be an even stronger source for you. So don't be hung up on Sula being in the title of the article. If you've done your search right, Sula is referenced in the article, and the article will work. And many of these articles reference Sula and other Morrison books. So there's all sorts of cool stuff here. You have to be really careful about just stopping on the first page. There are going to be probably 7 or 8 pages. Let's scroll down to the bottom. What do we got here? 9 pages. So take the time to go through until you find something that really clicks for you, something that really looks promising for you. This one looks like a cool article to me, because even though it's not focused on Sula, these ideas of feminine power and masculinities, that's exactly what we've been talking about. That'd be so cool to bring over to Sula. So think about that approach. I really think that it's the title and the concept that's going to be more important than the specific references to Sula. You're going to get theoretical ideas that could cross over. So let's imagine we decided we wanted to use this article from the Mississippi Quarterly, what is that, about 4 or 5 years ago. We're going to do 2 things. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cite it. And we click here and we get that MLA citation. We click copy, and then we can go into the discussion thread, open up our reply to the thread, the discussion prompt, and paste this right in. It's really cool because it's going to generate a link that anyone who wants to use your article can click on and go to. Really cool stuff. Makes it super easy to share. So once we've got that, we're going to share that. We're also going to download the PDF. You don't need to share the PDF with the group because you've already shared the link. But I do want you to skim through the article. I recommend focusing on the beginning and the end, and then skimming through the body sections. Read through the article and find 3 quotes that you think could be useful to understanding Sula. 3 quotes from this article that you think offer insights that can be applied to Sula. Even if the quotes aren't about Sula, if you think they could be applied to Sula in interesting ways, bring them in. And the quotes could be anything from a couple sentences to a whole paragraph. But you want to give people a chunk of text that really says, hey, I saw this just really interesting idea in this article. Now, you don't have to interpret the quotes. You just have to find them, paste them in, provide a page number. So your ultimate discussion post will be a MLA citation to an article related to Sula, a literary criticism article related to Sula, and you're going to have this MLA citation and 3 passages that you found in the article that you think are kind of interesting. And once again, a passage can be a couple sentences to a whole paragraph if you want. All right, and then so we're going to have sort of created a cool list of resources for all of us to be able to share out. Okay? If you have any questions, text me or email me, but there aren't going to be many written instructions for this assignment. You're really going to have to watch the video to walk through it.